Hey, what's up? Welcome back. This is Willis Juan with the Integrated Masculine series. I'm gonna talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, our mindset. Something I really try to work on. I'm not perfect. I have a lot of um, moments of weakness, but it's something that really matters a lot to me. A lot of the decisions that I make or have made, especially in my 20s, were regarding my mindset, things that would challenge me mentally. And it's something that's always within our control, or what happens in here. So I've alluded to this in a couple prior videos, at least one, that we have our human hardware, and that's kind of our deeply rooted beliefs or values, or our identity, our perception of ourselves, and that guides and supports our software, which is kind of our typical thoughts, decisions, and actions, and our everyday systems for living. And so it's important for us not only to address the systems and the software that we have, but actually to upgrade our hardware, because that's the power. That's the powerful mechanism that often subconsciously affects our software. All right. The strangest secret that you become what you think about most of the time is very true. Again, how we think internally eventually manifests into our external reality. And kind of like the law of attraction, we attract what we are. So it's very important for us to focus on what we are so that we can attract more of what we want. But in order to attract what we want, we have to be what we want. Make sense? The master algorithm for how we experience reality. This is from Sam Ovens. So we start with our beliefs, whether they're our hardware or our software. Those beliefs lead us to be a certain way. We act a certain way. We make decisions a certain way. We say certain things based on our beliefs. That way of being or those actions give us certain real world results. We take the feedback from those results, and those feed into our beliefs. If the feedback is good or is in alignment with what we want, then we know our beliefs are all right. If they're not in alignment, then we need to reassess our beliefs, because at the end of it, the cycle begins and ends with our beliefs. Mental feedback loops, like the feedback loops talked about, kind of are like the multiplier or compound effect. So again, we can either spiral down or spiral up, and generally we would prefer to spiral up. Again, our beliefs really shape our reality, so our perception of ourselves is basically a self-fulfilling reality. But the good news is we can always change our beliefs. Not easy, but it's doable. And so basically our identity is really an illusion. It's built up of stories about our past based on our environment, our memory, our imagination. And through conscious work, we're able to basically reprogram our perception of ourself, which ultimately becomes a self-fulfilling reality as our actions, results, and feedback shift accordingly. Upgrading our hardware. So consciousness engineering is deliberately creating self-encouraging, empowering models of reality. We need to routinely upgrade our hardware and software, just like we routinely upgrade the technology that we have, our computers, our phones, etc., to keep it up to date. We want to keep our internal hardware and software up to date. We can do that through learning. We can update our programming. We can interact with people, especially people we admire or respect, They probably have certain hardware, software that we could download for ourselves. We can explore the world, learn, uh, grow, read, implement those beliefs, that hardware and software, see how it affects us, and take in the feedback as necessary. Sorry, I think that's causing my computer not to be able to breathe. All right, and said another way, we have the confidence competence loop. So if we believe we can or if we believe we can't, we're usually right. Intercept at the belief stage. This is like 10 different ways of saying the same thing. We can design our characters, design our identity of ourselves. Peter Sage says, people never rise above their opinion of themselves. So that's really true. Because everything you do is going to be a reflection of your opinion of yourself. So to succeed, we must learn to work harder on ourselves, on our minds, on our mental beliefs, on our embedded programming of our identity than we do on our jobs or hard skills. How do we transform limiting beliefs? Okay, so we might have a goal that we're working towards, an ideal character that we want to create for ourselves. We might recognize that there's certain pre-existing beliefs that are no longer serving us. Well, we can begin by writing those down, noting how much that's costing us in all the different ways, both now and in the future. We can challenge that belief by writing counter evidence for it, and then consciously decide on a new, more empowering belief that's better aligned with the character we want to become. By habitually identifying our limiting beliefs, we become more aware of the mental conditioning that unnecessarily holds us back. So what are some common beliefs of high performers? There you go. I did it for you. You're welcome. So, scour the world, or others scour the world for common beliefs of high performers that I put into one couple of slides. So, one is they understand this feedback loop that I talked about. So they choose to remain unshakably positive and cultivate a winner's mentality. Right? And this requires a lot of self-talk, a lot of affirmations. We deserve to reach our goals. We have the ability to manifest our constructive thoughts into reality. We can create whichever character that we want, and we shut down negative thoughts and disheartening opinions before they cause us to spiral downwards. This is not the same as only experiencing positive emotions or denying our shadow. This is about choosing to remain in a positive upwards cycle of mental resilience. All right, next thing is a very important one. So a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Failure is not a failure. We win or we grow. We win or we learn. So if we quote unquote fail or don't reach our objective, we see it as an opportunity to learn or stretch our abilities. Right? We're always growing. We're always seeking to learn. We don't pray for an easy life. We pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. That's from Bruce Lee. Again, we practice determination, resilience, and persistence. Unfuckwithable, which means nobody or nothing can keep us down. High performers also develop an appreciative, giving mindset because they understand that affluence means to circulate with abundance. Again, everything in the universe is connected, so we can give. The secret to living is giving. The more we can be abundant and give, the more we will in turn also receive. We also create our own luck, which preparation means opportunity, demonstrate courage, which is not fearlessness, but taking action despite that fear. And we take extreme ownership of our lives, Jocko Willink. So, yes, some things are not necessarily are beyond our control, but we accept and may not always be our fault, especially if things occur to us when we're kids. But it is our responsibility to heal and to take ownership of our lives, take ownership of our attitude, of our stories, of our hardware, of our software, to accept, to take ownership of where we are and where we're going. And the easiest way to do that, as Jocko Willing says, is Jocko Willing shares, is to respond to everything, all the negative, uncomfortable, with good. It's good. Because then you see the silver lining in everything. Everything's an opportunity for learning. Everything's an opportunity for growth. So whatever failure, good. Good. Pain, pleasure. So those of you who took psychology in high school, you know about operant conditioning and how animals and humans as animals generally either pursue pleasure or reward or avoid pain, punishment. Except we have the ability as humans to be conscious of that conditioning and override it to some extent. So, as Mark Manson would say, if you want the benefits of something, you also have to want the costs. But what if we could learn to fall in love with the costs? If we can fall in love with work and not just the byproducts of work? Because it's, after all, kind of subjective what we feel pain and pleasure in, except for maybe torture. That's maybe universally painful. Some person might actually enjoy it. I don't know. But we can trick ourselves into deriving pleasure from certain, like, realistic everyday actions, like working hard, getting up early, staying committed, staying focused, being consistent, disciplined, all that good stuff. I want to fall in love with the process of becoming great, because the process, and we go into this a bit more in execution, consistency, and the process is really what's going to, your habits is what's going to take you to the next level, not just your vision. So again, how can we fall in love with the process and associate pleasure with the things like hard work and accountability, and associate pain, procrastination, and laziness? The old saying goes, you either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I would rather suffer the pain of discipline, which isn't even that painful. And I could be more disciplined as well. All right, that's it for this one. A lot of good stuff in here. Again, if you are interested in getting the full book, The Integrated Masculine, it's in the comments below. I also do individual as well as group coaching, so check out those links. If it seems like I know what I'm saying, hopefully every day I'm learning and I'm improving. So that being said, until next time.